Hi.
Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm your host, Julia Masalska, and today we're having this wonderful, talented woman, and it's her birthday, by the way, so leave her some nice birthday wishes in the comments. And we're always happy to answer questions, so be active. And support her during her work. She's going to be creating some super cool motion posters over the next 2 days. Today she's going to start with the design part, and tomorrow we're going to move into the motion. Hi Sam. Hi Kate.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me.
Hi Audie. Wow, we have so many people over here. It's amazing. Thank you guys for being here, for tuning in. Well, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Julia Masalska. I know my last name sounds a little bit weird. It's Ukrainian. So I'm a graphic designer here in San Francisco, working on a freelance basis. I have my own business for 2 years now. And Amanda, who is a really talented designer, she currently works for Dropbox. She has been working with bigger clients like eBay, for example, and she's gonna introduce herself in a little bit. So guys, as usual, you can submit the entries for the Daily Creative Challenge, and today's task will be creating drama in a landscape by using gradients. So let me switch to my computer real quick so I can show you where you can submit your work. So you can find the Daily Creative Challenge on behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. There is also an XD challenge going on that you can also submit for. There it will be behance.net/challenge/XD. So whatever you guys are interested in, we're gonna be reviewing some super cool designs of you guys in about 1.5 hours. And in about half an hour, we're gonna have a sticker giveaway from Sticker Mule, where you can win super cool die-cut stickers, 100 pieces, and they're completely custom made. Participate in the chat, and we're also very happy to answer any of your questions. So,
hi, Jack.
Oh, hi, Jack. Oh, yeah, I know him as well. Mueller, Kai, Anthony. Great to have you all, guys. Kita Jones sounds very familiar. I think maybe last time he was here as well. Brittany Lewis. Wow, it's great that you guys are here. Well, Amanda, so let us know, where are you from? What are you doing? What are you aiming for the next 2 days?
Hi guys, I'm originally from San Diego area, California, and moved to San Francisco for college and never went back. Started working here in the design field, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys. And I just want my main thing for you guys to take away today is something as small as something to help you with your workflow, to hopefully inspiring you guys to start maybe a personal project or some sort of series that can help you express yourself and really help you grow as a person as well as in your design.
Awesome. So Amanda has this amazing project where she's creating posters every week. This is her Instagram page, Amanda Lee. Lee's your first name, right?
It's my middle name.
Middle
yes.
name, yes. Awesome. So you can follow her on Instagram, but also on Behance. She has a couple projects there as well. And tell us more about your project. I can see a bunch of super cool motion things happening right here.
Thank you so much. Yes, so almost a year ago now, we're on week 43 out of 52 today, so we're going to get more into that as we start working. But basically I created this project almost a year ago in, I believe, September, and I called it 52 by 52 because I actually had a kind of very intense personal difficulty happen where I lost a very close friend of mine. And he really inspired me to better myself as a person every day. And because of that, I wanted to honor him and do something for myself where I'm learning new skills and expressing myself every week, and just kind of something to hold me accountable every week to put something out into the world. And so whatever your reason is, I really encourage you guys to do something for yourself, whether it's to express yourself or learn new things. And that's what got me started. So from there, I've really fallen in love with the process. And today, you guys are going to be helping me create week 43 out of 52.
Awesome. Yeah, Francisco is asking if it's After Effects, and yeah, it's a combination of Illustrator, Photoshop, where you create the actual design, right?
Yes, thanks for the question. We're going to be using a few of the Adobe programs today. Today, since this is a 2-day stream, today we're going to be focusing on Adobe Illustrator and a little bit of Photoshop, whereas tomorrow we're going to be using those two as well as Adobe After Effects. So the motion is going to come tomorrow, where today I can show you guys how we're going to do the design as well as the setup for the poster itself.
Yeah, awesome. Kita Jones is saying Amanda has a great use of color. I can only agree. It's very versatile. It's some bright colors up here, but also very subtle. So it's very, it's very versatile, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm really excited what it's gonna be in the end.
I'm excited too, Julia.
All right, should we jump in?
Yeah, let's jump in. Who else uses blue light blocking glasses? Okay, so I prepared a bit for today, and I have a mood board for you guys. So something I'd recommend if you're feeling lost as far as starting something new, I know that can be daunting, go ahead and make yourself a mood board, and you can have something specific in mind, or you can honestly just start pulling things that speak to you, excuse me, and it can be anything from images, photos that you've taken yourself, anything that you find on the internet, reading, magazines, anything out there that speaks to you. So if you guys see here, I created a little template that we can go over. And if you see on my posters, I have, let me pull this up really quick. I have a framework for my posters. If you see this small print around here, I'd recommend you guys setting something up like this if you're planning to start a series or even just a poster in general.
What was the combination?
Oh, sorry, that was command semicolon.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't know that one.
Is this called a semicolon? This one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it's the colon with the
yeah,
comma.
I think it's a semicolon, yeah.
Need to work on our lingo. Okay, so I would recommend you guys setting something like this up, and if you see here, we have week 43, and the theme that I decided to go with today is change, because there's a lot of change happening in my life. I'm actually starting a new job. If you guys follow me, I can get more into that another time, but starting a new job is a big change in life, and it's really exciting. So that's what I decided to focus on this week. And it's also cool to look back on if you can remember looking at your own work, what you were going through at that time.
Kita Jones is saying that your glasses look dope.
Thanks. I got them here in San Francisco.
And by the way, hi Claudia, hi Jasmine, hi Michelle Kaler is saying that you are a beautiful person.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys are beautiful as well, and so is my friend
thanks
Julia.
Thanks for being here. Oh. All right. So cool. I think that looks awesome. I really love the different typefaces. It goes like from 0 to 100, from sans serif to the super crazy serifs here.
Thank you.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
So I kind of had, when I was looking for my inspiration, I had the idea of change in mind. So for me, it's like, for example, here, if you guys can see my mouse, the letters on this piece are moving, so that represents change. Here, it's more of a form that's changing, as well as here. Gradients also change, shape, scale, some interesting type, and so you can kind of see it's a little bit of everything. And if we continue going down, something that I've started on my week 1 of my series is that my work is also influenced by music. So this week I decided to, I already decided on my song this morning. I'm actually seeing Odessa tonight for my birthday, so this song called La Ciudad by Odessa is going to be the song of the week.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately we can't play it here, but you guys can maybe open another browser window and listen to it if you guys feel like it, so you get an understanding what it's gonna be. I love Odessa.
This kerning bugs me. Okay, I'll stop myself. Week 43 of 52, so that's not something you guys have to do, but like I said, it's good to just have some sort of framework. And now we get into color palette. So this can come from anything, again, just like anything in life. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of things to explore. So I pulled some inspiration from my mood board for this palette, but I also kind of looked around a little bit more and did refine it on my own. So something you guys can do, for example, I do want to show you how you can do that. So say you have a mood board.
Wait, so this pattern is something that is going to be a gradient afterwards?
Potentially.
Uh-huh.
We'll see, yes.
That's cool.
So when you're going through, you kind of want to have in mind what you're going to make. And also when you're making a palette, you want to make sure you have a diverse range of colors, at least something that's going to show from light to dark. And of course, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but you do want something that's going to have contrast.
Yeah, contrast, yeah.
So what you could do, for example, I'm going to go Command V, because I copy and pasted these circles here. And for anyone that doesn't know how to make a circle, you can go here, ellipse tool. It's also Command L as the shortcut for my Mac users. And you can also Option Shift Drag if you want to create a little side palette for yourself.
Uh-huh.
And then Command D, Command D, Command D for all of my OCD people that want it evenly spaced.
Wow, that makes it real quick. That's awesome.
And then say I don't have this palette already, right? I want you guys to learn how to do this. So if you select one of your circles, you can go eye, so that's gonna grab my eyedropper, and say I want this orange here. Look at us go, we already have one color. So you can just continue to select from your mood board whatever is calling out to you. What do you think, Julia?
What shortcut are you using to take the eyedropper tool?
So you select whatever it is you want to color, and you just press I. That's it.
Just I. Okay.
I, and then you can go ahead and select.
Awesome.
And then to release, you can press V.
Mm-hmm.
And then say I want to undo that, Command Z.
Uh-huh. Awesome. That's cool.
What do you think
Yeah.
of this palette, Julia?
I think it's very interesting. It has a lot of purpley tones, so this pink and purple, I think could be the contrast to this very light green. And this red also kind of sticks out, so that could be like the contrasty part of it.
Right, so just to show you guys, this could be your palette right
Corey's
there.
saying happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, Corey. Love you. See you later. He's coming to the concert later.
Ah, cool. Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is a cool palette. I just wanted to show you guys that it could be that simple if you're really struggling with the palette, and then you can refine from there. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I did here, I just created some random shapes to kind of see how the colors are actually working together, because it's kind of hard to do.
And then you outlined them, and then you got those
let me bring this
round
back.
shapes, right?
Yeah, so all I did here, I just pasted it, okay? Whoops. Let me bring this down here. Okay. So,
Yay. There it is.
right, so having something just so you can look at helps to see how the colors are working together. So all I did was grab my brush tool, so that's B on the keyboard.
Brazil in the house.
Is that Brazil?
Hola from Brazil.
Beach sounds nice right now.
Happy birthday, Amanda from ODDS.
Thank you.
She's also happy about any messages on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you guys feel like it, wish her a happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. And thanks, Axel, for saying you love the way we're starting the project. I really hope it's helping you guys, so any feedback you can give us is great.
Yeah, ask us any questions. Send us your favorite colors.
So,
Yeah, what's your favorite color?
So what I did here was I grabbed the brush tool, and you can change the size by grabbing the bracket. So this is me holding the right bracket, and do you see that getting larger there? So if you want a real chunky line here, that's what you can do. So remember V, and then I'm gonna grab another color. V again, B for brush. And what this Illustrator program does is it actually smooths out your line for you. So if you see when I'm making it, it's kind of like jagged, but then it smooths it out for me.
There's a way to set it, right? How much you want it to be smoothed out?
Right. Well, let's not get into that now.
Okay. I think this color combination is super interesting. This very light green with this lipstick red. I think it's awesome.
I'm just
Very
getting
exciting.
too excited here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And this, you guys, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just trying to show you maybe something that will potentially help. So just like anything in art, there's no really right or wrong.
Yeah, that is true. Just draw your random shapes.
Yep. So now we're kind of
Experiment.
getting to see how these are working. Now the only one that's missing is this one, B for brush. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So within Illustrator, there's even fun things we could do with this to create the design. But today I want to stay on track with what we're actually going to be doing for this poster is we are going to be creating gradients with a gradient mesh tool.
Uh-huh.
So this here,
Where do I find it?
I will show you.
Okay, cool. I'm overly excited
Yes,
about
I'm just excited
learning.
too.
I'm not very big on making gradients, so for me it's really cool to learn right now.
Yeah, and let us know if anything is not making sense or if you guys need us to go slower or go back on something, just let us know. So I did take the time to create these already because I wanted it to look a certain way and show you guys what it's going to look like. And then right now we're going to go through and actually create it so you guys can see every step. And what I decided to do is use these three gradient meshes here to represent change. So for me, obviously the dark purple is kind of overtaking the sphere, and that's for me representing change in an abstract way. So why don't we go ahead and make a circle? So that's how you start. And why don't we use this color palette for now, just so you guys can have a little variety in your life. Okay, so Command V. And why don't I lock these just so I don't mess them up, which is Command 2. Yep, see, now they won't move. And same with this. Let's make it a little smaller. So if you guys don't want to mess up the shape of your circle, just press Shift. There you go. That's a little small, right? Command 2. Okay, so the way you're going to start to create this, I know it looks kind of maybe intense, is you're just going to grab the L, which is a circle tool, and hold Shift like we just did to keep the shape. Otherwise it's going to be an oval or something crazy.
Rico is saying my boss will kill me if I would say I do something random. Never admit that you're experimenting on the side.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know
Rico.
exactly what you're doing.
Yes, there's a purpose for everything, right? I guess you can make
welcome,
there be.
Andres Vaca.
Oh, hello. Long time no see.
Merlin C.
Okay, so we have a circle, right? Why don't we start it with a color because it's going to be easier that way. So what color do you guys want me to start with?
Okay, shoot your colors. What color to start with? Do you
Out
guys
of this
think
palette here.
red, pink, green, blue, or light pink? What is that? Light pink?
Yeah.
Shoot your colors. We need a decision now. Okay, so let's try something out so they have something to pick from.
Lime green from Brittany. All right, thanks, Brittany.
All right, there it is.
Or lipstick red. Purple, green.
Okay, green.
All
Definitely.
right, we have two greens. So
okay,
we'll
we
go
have
with
two
that.
pinks now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, green. Green.
Purple. Okay, everyone's saying purple, red.
Purple.
Well, okay, why don't we just
Okay, purple. I think
Purple?
purple is in the majority now.
so that means this one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so just a rule of thumb, if you're creating some sort of gradient like we are, it's better to have a slightly darker color like I'm using here, just to give the eye some hard edge there compared to the white background. So I would say either the orange, the pink, or the red in this case might be the best. So let's go ahead and start with the red.
Oh yeah, I love that color.
Yeah?
Oh,
Cool.
it's an amazing, super classic lipstick color, guys.
Yes. Looks good on every skin tone.
Especially on light skin tones.
Okay, so I feel like it looks good on tan too.
Yeah?
I need some tan. Okay.
It has this orange touch in it. I love it.
So the way we're gonna create this gradient, if you can see, oh, just kidding, I can't click on it because I locked it. If I did click on it, it shows that there's more of a complex grid here. So what that's called is a gradient mesh, and that's something that's new on the newer versions of Illustrator that you couldn't do before. Before you could just do kind of more of a smooth gradient. So this actually gives the artist or the designer the liberty to create the gradient by themselves rather than have it computer generated. So what you're going to do is sometimes if you forget where stuff is, you can just go to help and say gradient. See here? Wheel of Death, you guys, it happens.
By the way, guys, only 7 minutes and 53 seconds until Chat and Win, where you just have to type comments and then you can be considered to win the 100 stickers from Sticker Mule, so stay tuned.
Ooh, stickers, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love stickers.
Okay, so do you guys see
I
how
love
even
stickers.
just typing the word gradient, it shows up the first thing. So create gradient mesh, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna click it. And then if you see you were to go the long way, you just go object, create gradient mesh. So it's right there for you, okay? And then you're gonna get this little window here and it's gonna say rows, columns, appearance, highlight. So if you mess with these a little bit, you can see it's gonna change the look of your gradient.
Hi, Lenar. Lenar is saying hi, girls.
Hey,
Hi.
thanks for saying hi, you guys.
Cebolia Mendes. Yay.
Robert's ready to win.
Alex Tkachenko. Probably also Russian or Ukrainian.
Yes. Okay. So I believe I started this either flat or center. If you see the center option kind of gives you a little bit more of a start on the actual look of the sphere. So why don't we go ahead and go with that? And then if you were to edit this, just to show you for context, it would go ahead and add more points for you. So what we're going to do is go in and select each of these points and change the color. But for the sake of today, let's just stick with 4. 4 is more than enough to create what I did here. Okay? Cool, so look at this. It's already kind of coming to life, right? So what we're gonna do is select it again. And to select each point, you're going to press A on the keyboard. And what that does is, you know how V kind of selects this whole thing? A is going to allow you to select one point at a time, but you can also select multiple points at a time with it. So why don't we start with kind of going in here and just see what happens. So I'm clicking here, and then go ahead and hold Shift if you're gonna select more than one at a time. And then remember something we learned earlier, eye. So that's gonna allow you to use the eyedropper and go to your palette here and see what's gonna happen.
Ooh, I love it.
Ooh, yes.
It looks like somebody put on a highlight on.
Ooh, yes. I don't have highlight. Do you guys know how to put on highlight? Maybe we should do a makeup tutorial. Okay. So
Alex is saying he followed us both on Instagram. Great, thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex.
Vico Bickensdorf is saying that he needs some stickers to cover the screen of his boss.
You want to cover your boss with stickers? I hope they're friendly stickers.
Anyway, in only 5 minutes and 10 seconds, you have the chance to. All right.
Okay. Does that mean we have 5 minutes to create the sphere, Julia?
No, we have some time afterwards.
Okay,
Don't worry.
Okay. Oh, got me sweating over here. Okay. Yeah, I also laugh at my own jokes. It's really bad. Okay, so you're gonna select each point again with A, and then remember if you're selecting more than one, Shift, I, then...
Marlene is suggesting let's do the eyeshadow palette color.
Ooh, yes.
Eyeshadow palette.
Actually, I think tomorrow, if you guys tune in tomorrow, I'm going to wear, like, peachy eyeshadow. So.
Oh, yeah, let's do peachy eyeshadow tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay,
we could
sounds
be
good.
matching.
Huh?
We could be matching.
Yeah, we can be matching.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
So, ooh, this is already kind of working, right?
This
but
looks
we
good.
we kind of have the dilemma here that unlike my palette up here, we have a lot more variety in the palette.
Mm-hmm.
So the blue is a lot different than the light pink, for example, or in the orange. So we need to start building in the blue somehow. So why don't we start building the blue on the outside? And again, there's no right or wrong, but in general, I think the darker tones look best on the outside just to give the sphere some depth. So why don't we go ahead and click these here. A, click, Shift. I'm holding Shift, just clicking after I selected A. I for eyedropper, going with the blue.
Welcome, Mark Hutton.
Hello, Mark.
Sorry, just joining.
Don't worry,
You just joined
Mark.
at the right point. It's just getting fun.
A, Shift, I. Okay, this is actually gonna work. I'm glad right now. I didn't test this before, so
Oh, this looks nice.
yeah.
I love
so
it.
it's starting to kind of work a little bit, right?
Well, it reminds me of the space of like planets. Ooh.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for saying I can laugh out loud.
Yeah, thank God we're not forbidden to laugh here. What do you have to do to win the stickers? So in 3 minutes and 2 seconds, you can just type any comment to be considered for the stickers. So that's what you have to do. Just type in a comment. That's it. But I'll let you guys know when it's that far.
Okay. Some interesting things happening here. It's kind of like a sherbet ice cream.
Yeah,
If you like sherbet ice cream, you're weird. Just kidding.
Hey, or it also looks like shaved ice. You know how they put the different colors on the different spots, and it creates something very similar looking.
Mm-hmm.
It actually reminds me of that. It looks very tasty.
Yes. Do you guys like sherbet ice cream?
Yeah, who likes sherbet ice cream?
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and stick with this? So I'm kind of actually liking how there's this weird shape in here. So every time you do something, it's going to be different than it was before, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing because it's being created organically and you're expressing yourself for that time. So to copy this over, rather than just starting from scratch, that would take a lot of time, right? So to save yourself time, you can select it just with the regular V tool, and then I'm going to click with my mouse, Option Shift, bring it over. Okay. I want it to line up, right? And then V to release, click.
Yay!
There we go.
Awesome.
So, Juliet, how do you think we should change these? So if the theme is change, right? Since this is different than the top here,
Yeah.
how do you think they should change moving forward? Do you think it
I would
should be more
suggest
blue or more
I would
pink?
suggest to make this bright color grow, because that's kind of like a positive change, right? If it's getting brighter and then like all the darkness kind of like fades away. So I think that would be really cool if we could do that.
Okay, I like that.
What do you guys think?
She is a sunny girl. It's her Instagram.
Oh yeah, my Instagram is just another sunny girl.
You are
It really
sunny.
is just another sunny girl.
Yes.
Check it out.
We must appreciate each day.
True.
Okay,
And
so,
we only have 52 seconds until Chat and Win, so stay tuned.
and only 52 weeks in a year. Okay, so we're gonna add the pink more. So shift, shift. Okay,
Jack
getting more
lives
pink.
for the sherbet, can't get enough. Well, I can see that.
Love you, Jack.
Brittany Lewis, yay! Make the light color bigger,
Yes, she agrees. Okay.
Ariana is saying.
So I think I need more green here, right?
Hi Betty. Betty Brooks just joined us. Hi.
Hi, Betty.
Welcome. We're working with Gradient Mesh in Illustrator, and we're gonna be creating a. Ooh, it's
I like
only,
what's happening, you guys.
That's awesome, but we have a chat and win because there's
Woo.
fireworks. We're gonna do a chat and win, so you guys just have to type any kind of comment in the chat window. Just type anything to be considered for the 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. Way!
Woo.
Chat and win, type away, just type anything, any favorite color, any favorite name.
Fireworks, woo.
Type your own name if it's your favorite name. Type your favorite actor's name if that's your favorite name.
Does it need to be a name?
It doesn't have to be a name, just anything. You can type anything you want.
What's your favorite color, you guys?
What's your favorite color? Yeah, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue, but I also love black.
Oh, I love black too. Black is kind of like many people's color, but then they kind of also like a color.
Yes.
Ooh, guys, type.
Corey, what'd Corey say?
Just type anything you want. 100 3x3. And the winner is Angela Schrock. Congratulations. Congratulations, Angela. You're winning 100 die-cut stickers from Sticker Mule. And for everybody else that didn't win, you can go to stickermule.com/AdobeLife19 to be no, you don't have to be considered because you don't have to win anymore. You can get 10 stickers for only $1. Well, there we go. And now we can finally continue with our super cute gradients.
All right, so finishing up the third one here, I'm going to click A, shift, shift, shift. I think maybe some more green.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Which color should be dominant in the end? I think the bright color is super nice. Especially because it's not a very typical bright color. Usually we work with like warm tones, but this tone is kind of greenish, kind of cool, but also very bright. Kind of looks like a light in the end of the tunnel.
Wow, I really like that. And then you can always rotate. So to rotate, why don't I redo that? Click it and then click R, and you can rotate it that way as well.
Animation we're gonna be doing tomorrow. Today we're gonna be preparing all the design that we need with Illustrator, and tomorrow we're gonna be jumping into After Effects.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next step here. We have our 3 bubbles. So if you see the way I laid them out here, they kind of look like bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
And bubbles change, right? So that's something we're going to use moving forward. And what you guys can do is grab one of your bubbles and, excuse me, if you guys are going to copy this exactly, you can. Otherwise, I'd really encourage you to experiment with the tools I'm giving you today and create something new. And that just kind of will push you a little bit to get outside your comfort zone rather than just copying something exactly, but you're totally welcome to if you want to start this way as well. So I would say just looking at the 3 of these, this one here is the most interesting. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Alex was saying that the last one, the green looks pretty overpowering. I agree, but if you see it as a process where something changes, it can be sometimes overpowering.
Right. I'm wondering, what if we add another pink in here? I'm wondering if that helps. It just kind of creates a weird shape here.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked it when it just takes over the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We can use this one as a small bubble. Mm-hmm. So we can go ahead and copy this and paste it, Command V. And remember, when you're scaling, press Shift to keep the shape. And then you can grab your other 2. So let's go ahead and copy them.
The cool thing is that the color scheme is similar, so it doesn't matter how the gradients are built, they're always gonna kind of like have this connection of color. So I think that's awesome.
Right, and we have a difference in scale here where the top one's larger than the bottom, so let's go ahead and keep that. And then this one can become smaller. And you guys, this is all abstract. There's no right or wrong way to do anything.
Exactly.
And so something I like to do is not take things too literally, but do have a reason for doing things.
I think that looks really cool right now, that the small bubble kind of looks like it's pushing into the big one.
Yeah, it does, right? So see how those things can happen without even really trying. And what we can do, what would actually make even more sense, is if the blue is on the other side, but let's see if it gets lost.
Yeah, it kind of does get lost a little bit.
So it's actually good to have that contrast, if you guys see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have the contrast against the darker color.
Okay, Alex is still confused how to find the gradient mesh. Can you show that again?
Yeah, let's show that again. So Alex, let's grab a circle. So go ahead and press L and Shift. Then you can have a circle. Doesn't matter what color it is. Go up to Object, Create Gradient Mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Okay, and what I did for this one is 4, center, highlight 100, don't worry about it. So that's going to create this for you. And then to change the colors like we're doing, you're going to press A, select one point or multiple at a time. If you select multiple, go ahead and press Shift, click, change the color.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
And I know this is kind of daunting because you have all of the control at your fingertips, whereas before the computer just kind of created the gradient for you. So it can take some time to get used to and to kind of create something that you like the way it looks. So just be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Andres is saying it looks like Neptune on a nice summer day. Wow, that sounds very romantic.
Yes, I would like to go there. Oh, Corey says gorgy colors. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, I love the colors. They're awesome.
Thank you. So what did I do next here? I'm starting to explore type because I know that I want to incorporate some type potentially in this poster. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. So a good way to approach that, why don't we bring this over here?
Yeah, I think text can really make the message even stronger than just the shapes, right?
Right. So if you have something you want to say, in some of my posters I put song lyrics or some cities that I've traveled to or anything that's kind of standing out for you that particular week or day that you're creating something, you can put one word, you can put multiple words on your poster, and that way you can communicate a little bit more clearly rather than abstract.
Isn't there a way to change transparency of the colors edit in the gradient mesh circle? Timo is asking.
Yeah, there is. So I believe you would need to go ahead and change the transparency of the whole thing, which I don't want to do for this purpose, but you can. I believe that is here. Yeah, so if you just click on it and you're on the transform section, you can edit the opacity.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see how that made it lighter?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're going for more of that look, and that actually creates more contrast as well,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. And then also something interesting, so say this is at 61%, what if I want to make this top one 61%? You're going to start to see the background a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. 61.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so see that? So then it creates
that actually looks like bubbles.
Yeah,
like
right?
Real soap bubbles.
It is bubbles.
Awesome.
Okay.
Wow.
We got some...
That's cool.
That actually is kind of cool.
And here you can see how the color palette can create such a different mood. I mean, if you look at the right one, it really looks super happy, super friendly, and the left one kind of looks like this dark side of the moon, and it has this dark side that's very intense, and it's kind of like coming out.
Which one do you guys like better? Do you like the transparency or do you like the full one?
One or two, guys. Let us know which one you like better. I love color. And we want to create something that's very it's emotional content, right? So emotional content usually is not very light. It usually has to do with any kind of intense experience. So I feel like intense color really fits to it. So I feel like, yeah, I would not go for the bubbly look, more for this,
It's an intense change that's happening in my life. So some people are saying they like this one, some people are saying they like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, a lot of twos.
Majority is two so far.
Some ones.
Awesome. Yeah.
The left one looks like our world in 30 years.
30 years.
Vico. That's dark, Vico.
Oh, wow. Well, who knows how it's going to look like.
Hopefully it'll be a better place.
Hopefully, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, okay. Carolina is saying, I like the transparency one, but the colors are kind of girly.
Maybe I'm feeling girly today.
She's feeling girly. Well, we've been talking about eyeshadows, so. Oh, awesome.
Okay, Michelle says if we're going for change, then one.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a very drastic change from this dark purple to this very, very light sky blue. Mm-hmm. I think it's actually really cool.
You know what we could actually do is mess with it as well. So Option Shift. What if this one was the large one? So see here, it'll completely change the vibe of it if this more drastic one is the large one.
Tess is saying transparency is the new black. Well, let's add another variable to the whole game, huh? Awesome.
So you could even do something behind it as well, if you wanted.
Wow, I think that's cool. I like that a lot. I like that color scheme a lot.
Shout out to my friend who I got this color palette from. Thank you. I feel for me personally, this top one is too much contrast to the bottom one, and it's not flowing as well as this one did.
I agree.
So why don't we just delete this?
I think the left one is really balanced in terms of color. I think the same amount of color of this dark purple that's in the big one is also in the two small ones. So that kind of makes a good combination.
Totally. So you guys, so since this is the poster that I'm creating on change, I think I'm going to go ahead and choose this one just because it represents that more for me personally. And that's not to say that this wouldn't represent change more for you. That's totally your call and something that you can think about when you're creating your own. And so moving on to type, what I like to do usually is put kind of a large one word and just try out some different typefaces and see what you're liking. I'm actually learning hand lettering right now, so I've been interested in black letter, but I don't think it's really working for today. I'm kind of more interested in potentially a serif like this.
Serif! I love serifs.
Yeah. I've been into this lately. This typeface is called Og Roman. Then I have some classics here. I have Avenir Next. I have Accidents Grotesque, my favorite typeface of all time. It's hard to kern, but it's worth the effort.
And you guys can check out the typefaces on fonts.adobe.com. You can just download them. It's very, very easy. And it's going to be applied to all of your Adobe applications. So yeah, check it out. Yeah,
so I would just kind of encourage you to look around on Adobe Typekit or adobefonts.com and explore what stands out to you and go ahead and use that.
Yeah, there you can also filter for serifs or sans serifs or black letter, whatever you feel like.
Yeah, so how are we doing on time, Julia?
We're doing good. I think we're doing great. We have some time for experimenting.
Cool. So what we want to do today, we'll see how everything goes with time, but it looks like we have plenty of time to put together the static poster today, and then tomorrow we're going to add the motion. So we want to give you guys enough information today on creating the static poster, and tomorrow we can go ahead and make it move, so that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Photoshop. We can go over creating a template for yourself. So what I did with mine personally, I knew I was going to be posting this on Instagram, so I went ahead and looked up the specs for the large format Instagram post. So you know how you guys can zoom out of the square and create kind of a larger rectangle post? So what I did was I looked that up, and if you go to image canvas size, you can see my specs here. So it'll fit perfectly if you create a size that is 1080 by 1350, and that's in pixels. So make sure your increments are in pixels.
And it's only
1350.
Sorry, and it's only 45 minutes left for the design feedback for the Daily Creative Challenge. So submit your work. You only have 44 minutes.
Can't wait to see your guys' work.
55 seconds. We're going to be reviewing them a little bit later.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see your guys' work.
All right, so you set the size now?
Yes. Hey, Junaid. Hi, Noor. Okay, so yeah, we have the specs here, and again, this is just a suggestion if you want to do Instagram. Otherwise, do whatever size makes you happy inside. And what I did here as well is I created a margin that is consistent. That gives me some room to put the type, but also gives me plenty of room for my image here.
On the left side, you have an extra guideline.
Right, let's ignore that for now.
Okay. But usually you can also put something on the side, right? Is that for the orientation for the type that goes like vertically?
Oh yeah, you can. So
okay.
If you did want to put vertical type, you could put it along this line. So do you think we should create a new canvas so I can show them how to create?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
We could, of course.
Why don't we do that? So we can teach you guys, because I want to inspire you today to hopefully start something consistent for yourself if that's what you want. So hopefully you can create the template today, and then you can have that to move forward and continue to use for all of your artwork. And so what we're going to do is Command N. So we're in Photoshop, just to clarify here. Command N. That's going to give me a new document. And it's going to kind of spit out whatever presets you have previously. So I'm just going to do it manually and say I have pixels. What did I say? 1080 by 1350. And pixels per inch for web, you usually want 72, but I just put 150 just to be extra safe and sharp.
300
RGB
for print.
Yep, 72 for screen, but you can go up to 150.
It increases the size of the file as well, so you want to go as low as possible and as high as necessary.
Yes, well said. So create. Okay, so now it's giving me an empty canvas, right? And there's many ways to do this, but what I did is I just created my own little square here. So to create a square, you can hold Shift and think about how many pixels you want your margin to be. And keep in mind, it's tempting to like make a huge margin, but that's gonna get in the way of your artwork. So I'd recommend something kind of maybe between, if you're doing this size, maybe even as small as 60 to as large as 100 is the most I would go. So let's go somewhere around 70 pixels. Then you can press V. And then you can go ahead and drag your guide here. So if you guys don't have the ruler showing up, you can go Command R, so that makes that show up for you. Just manually making this. And then I'm just gonna drag this over. This is my personal way of doing it, you guys. There's plenty of ways to make your template.
And the rules are only for your orientation. That means if you export the file, the rulers are not able to be seen. So it's just for your layout orientation. So
then we can get rid of this little thing here and Command colon. That shows the rulers for you. It's fun.
Awesome.
It's fun to play with that.
Super cool.
Okay, so
appear, disappear, appear, disappear.
So then what you can do is decide what you want to have on your type on your poster, on your template. So what do you want to say, and what do you want to be consistent, and what do you want to change? So if we go back to
variables, huh? So we have your project name, right? The size.
So we have 52 by 52. That's the name of my project. We have the month and the year, and we have the week. And right here, what I decided to do is kind of name each poster with 1 to 3 words that kind of represent what that poster means to me. So that's something that you can do. It's something you can leave untitled. It's totally up to you. And then this is where I did listening to, and then, so this is where the artist is, and I decided to put the name here. So it just creates that consistency, and then I put my name. So again, this is totally up to you. Why don't we create something a little bit different this time? So I'm gonna make a text box. So I clicked T here, drag a text box, then it's gonna put some lorem ipsum. So why don't we start with name? So why don't we put Julia's name just for fun?
Ooh, it's gonna be my new poster series.
M-A-S-A?
M-A-S-A-L-S-K-A. Ma-sals-ka.
Ma-sals... Wait, can you say that again?
M-A-S-A-L-S-K-A.
There we go.
I'm a pro in pronouncing my name. Everybody's asking.
Ma-sals-ka. Okay?
Yeah,
and then you can change the typeface here. Whoops. And you guys, just so that doesn't happen to you, you can hide your Illustrator just so it's not in the way. And you can drag out your Photoshop. Just personally, I like to have it big so I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then if you want to zoom in to your canvas, Command O. Whoops, that's open. Don't do that. Command 0. Okay. So that's gonna make it as large as your window. So we have Julia's name here, and we want to change the typeface just so when I copy and paste this, I can have the correct typeface. So we're gonna go Command T, and it's gonna bring up the character settings here. And if you see, we have Helvetica Neue, which obviously is a classic, but for this sake, why don't we just change it to show you guys something new? Yeah, personally, I like to have more of a classic as my template just because...
Yeah, you don't want to take away from the artwork, right?
Exactly. So why don't we go with something like Accidents Grotesque, my favorite typeface. So if you guys go with the sans serif, it's going to give you a little bit of a modern look. This is a classics typeface, so you really can't go wrong, but it's totally up to you. And I'm big on kerning, so if you guys want to make sure you kern your type just so it looks extra clean, and what you can do is go into the text box and press Option and then the right or left arrow to kind of nudge those over. So why don't we zoom in here? Option Shift. Option Shift.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, not Shift, arrow.
That looks good.
So we could go on all day doing this, but just kind of want to clean it up a little bit.
Russian people in the house.
Hey.
Edis Ognisan is writing in Russian. Please use English here, but he's actually saying, I really need to learn English. So that's a joke in itself.
Well, Julia actually knows Russian, so why don't you say hello in Russian?
Привет.
Привет.
Well, there we go. International team.
Okay, so to copy this, we're all about efficiency, right? So let's not make more work for ourselves than we need to. So why don't we Command J, and that's going to copy Julia's name here. So Command J.
Do you Command Julia's name.
Command Julia. So do you see it being a copy here? Then I'm just going to go over and drag it over. So then we're going to have something right aligned over here. So over here, why don't we do the name of the song?
Okay.
So we said La Ciudad by Odessa.
Kashish Aurora is asking how you aligned the kerning again.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that.
Real quick. We have to do this for La Ciudad as well, right?
Yes, totally. So we're going to go into the text box, and I'm going to press Option, left arrow in this case. Do you see how that brought the D over? And so with kerning, you kind of want to squint your eyes, and what you're looking for is somewhat, one of my mentors told me once, squint your eyes, and you should have the same amount of, as if you were pouring water on top of the characters, you would want the same amount of water to go through each letter. So it's not necessarily like mathematically the exact space that is between, it's going to be optically spaced. So it's all done by your eye, and you could sit here and do it forever. So I'd encourage you just to kind of get in the habit of practicing that, and you'll get faster at it.
Awesome.
But this really, I believe, kerning shows a detail-oriented designer from not. So I think it makes a huge difference. You will see, once you start to notice this, you will see bad kerning everywhere, and it will hurt your eyes.
Or when something is not centered.
Yes.
Or not center aligned or properly aligned along a line. Line.
Who knows, is Odessa all caps or is it not? It is, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not, it's interesting. Odessa. So
I think it was ZS.
Odessa.
Or?
Odessa.
Oh yeah, correct. Sorry.
Yeah, so you want to make sure if you are doing artists, make sure you credit them properly and have their name spelled correctly.
Correct. I agree.
So all caps, it's a little bit easier to kern sometimes, but also...
I love all caps.
can take more time. So what I decided to do is put a dash here just to separate the name of the song with the artist. And then you're going to shift right arrow to bring it over. So you can optically align it to the right. Okay? So we have a template coming along here. So in this case, if I were creating a new template for myself, I'm really tired of having the square that I have, honestly. I feel like as a designers, we get tired of things easily. But for the sake of consistency for my project, I'm keeping this. But if I were to create a new one, maybe next year, we'll see, with my next year of posters potentially, I would create a new template just because.
Are you planning that?
Switch it up.
That would be awesome.
I think so.
And I think it's super cool. Probably some of you guys have seen some artists actually do like a series of artwork, and I think you can really see the improvement in practicing it over and over and over again, even every day, just making a different thing, different experiment every day. You learn new tools, and I think it's really great to practice designing and learning new tools.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I can actually agree to that.
I agree with Miss Alska on this one. So why don't we play around a little bit? So Command T, this is gonna allow you to transform the type. So then let's go ahead and turn it sideways. And if you guys want it to snap to correctly or exactly vertical, hold down Shift, then release. Okay. So then why don't we have something like this? What if we did that? So,
yeah, that creates kind of like a frame of text, which I think is super cool.
Right, so this is something that is a lot easier said than done. And if you guys have ever done like editorial design, you'll understand that it like things like this look easy, but to make it look right, it takes forever. So for the sake of time, we're just gonna kind of leave it something like this for now, but I would probably go ahead and finesse it some more if I were to actually use this. Okay, so I just wanted to teach you guys how to create that template. And then what you can do is Command S, so you want to save it. So why don't we say 1? And you can go ahead and save it on your desktop, wherever you want. And that way you have this template saved. And then for my next poster, and obviously you guys wouldn't have the same thing twice. You would change this to whatever other information you want to have. But then you would have this template where the next week you would change the song. And
yeah,
then,
you can reuse this template, and that's great.
Okay, so let's go ahead and close out of this one. Go back to this one. So let's get back to actually designing our poster of the day. So we have our bubbles here. We have some type that we're gonna mess with.
And only 31 minutes to the design feedback. So you guys should submit your work, submit your artwork so we can review and give you some feedback.
Oops, keep doing that.
Oh, I love those colors. I think they remind me, I was thinking what they remind me of, and I think they remind me of actually like the sunrise and the sunset, because when you have the sunset, you have this dark purple, dark blue, and then you have the day sky, which is light blue, and then the in-between actually has the similar colors. That's why I think it was reminding me of a sunset.
Oh, thanks, Julia. I think you're a sunset.
But a sunset can also be a sunrise.
This girl is such a good friend. She always makes me so happy, and she has such a positive attitude on life.
Aww,
you guys want
thank
friends
you.
that are positive people.
That's so well said. I'm really happy to have you in my life.
Oh. Thanks, likewise. Okay, so what I'm doing here, if you guys missed that, I did Shift O, and that's gonna be my artboard tool on Illustrator, and it allows you to copy artboards, make new artboards, have more flexibility. So this whole thing is your canvas here, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm going to kind of mimic the proportions of my poster. It's not going to be exact, but this way at least it gives me a sense of space of what I'm actually going to be creating. So we decided this is what's representing change, right? So why don't we mess with this a little bit and see what we're going to do here. So I actually don't know. Let's figure it out.
Okay.
And that's part of the process. You guys don't be scared. Just start doing things and see what you like and what's working for you.
Yeah.
I just find that the circular shape, if you guys can tell by all of my posters almost, I just feel like circles look really good on rectangles. And they can represent a lot of things, and they're really fun to play
Opposites.
with. Yeah. So I just really think it's a really nice organic shape. It's a geometric shape, but it's beautiful.
Endless, too.
Yes. It is endless. Okay, so I think I'm going to have this kind of large, but then I feel like this needs more elements of texture and layering here. So we're obviously going to do something with the background, but we need to decide what we want to do with type. Thanks, Sam, for posting my Instagram. You're the best. So what do we want to say with type, Julia? Do you think we should say change? There's a lot of options. So we kind of decided we want to maybe go more in either this direction or maybe
We could also look up the
Avenir.
song text.
Oh, we can. Why don't we do that?
Mhm.
Let's look up the song lyrics. That's something I've done before. So, La Ciudad Odessa.
Yeah.
Lyrics.
There we go. I'm pretty sure there will be something super amazing that we will find right now that we can definitely use.
No, Google, we don't want this right now. How about this? Oops, that's a Reddit. We don't want that.
Oh, I love lyrics. What's your guys' favorite music? I really love Tame Impala. I'm a big fan of Tame Impala.
Ooh, yes.
I think their lyrics are amazing, and you can really literally interpret so many things in it. I think it's amazing.
So we're having some trouble finding the lyrics here. It's maybe a little bit less popular of a song.
Possible?
It's possible, yes.
Or we can just take the title of the song.
We can.
Can I somehow sort live videos or recording by language? Biko is asking. I'm not sure.
Sort the videos or recordings by language. Potentially. Yeah, just make sure if you're Googling a song, just make sure you put the name of the language that you want it to be in, and it'll probably come up. Okay, so rather than saying La Ciudad, that means the city. I think I'm gonna probably just say change for the sake of today. So why don't we try...
Tame Impala's videos will be something looking very similar to this poster. They have some super crazy videos, yeah. I agree.
So you can kind of just start to see like what it would look like if I were to separate these layers. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of liking the serif more. Just because I feel like it complements the bolder imagery with a lighter typeface. So also, it means the weight is lighter, and also it kind of has more of a positive feeling to it.
And also I feel like the sans serif, specifically the one that you picked, is very fragile. I would say it's very, very light. And I think it kind of has this lightness in common with the circle, with the bubbles, but also it has this complexity in it, which is a contrast to the bubbles, which I think is amazing.
Totally.
Oh, I love the caps.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play with the caps here. So what we can do is get rid of this, and then let's group this for now. So to group something, which means it can't come apart from each other, let's select it all and say Command G. And then why don't we blow this up a little bit, and then Object, we can go Expand, Object and Fill. And what that's going to do is it's going to create this typeface into outlines, and then Object Ungroup. And what that does is it now allows me to grab each individually. Okay, so then you can mess with it more. So why don't we make it bigger? So what if I want to separate the layers? Because change is a process, right? It's not something that happens all together. So why don't we start doing something weird with this? Whoops.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that, actually. Behind the sphere. Behind the sphere, the change is hiding.
So I think before I get too carried away, I'm not going to want too much size variation between the letters because there's already a lot going on with these three sizes. So why don't I go ahead and go back, and maybe I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and potentially leave them all the same. I don't know, but we'll see.
We are experimenting.
Yes. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We don't know, but you have to try, right?
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I love it.
And you have to decide if you're using type, do you want it to be legible? Do you want people to be able to understand what you're saying right away? Or do you want to use the type more as a texture? Me, honestly, I have no idea right now. We're just messing around. So,
Oh, that's cool.
to me, that's kind of cool. It's also weird, right? So I haven't really decided. And what you can do is you can zoom out.
Because the CH is pretty far apart from the A, and this circle is also kind of dividing them, so you don't really start reading from there. I would start reading from the E, G, and A, Egna.
So
That's
you're
what I would read first, probably.
So, see, totally. So that's something that's totally accurate, and you have to decide if that's working for you or not, which for me, I don't want people to read Egna when they're looking at this, so maybe we should take a step back and use the type more as a texture. So let's create more space by making this a little bit smaller. And what you can do is align, and this is going to align to your artboard if you select that. And let's go center, center.
Raphael is saying that an animation of these floating elements would be pretty cool too. A gift for a post. That's the plan.
Right.
We're going to be animating this tomorrow.
What if we animate these, you guys? So what if I shouldn't even spend too much time with this type right now? Because I feel like it's going to take some time to make it work.
Okay. All right.
Change.
Letters can be floating. And the circles can be floating too. Or do you think you want to leave something steady?
Right. So I need to decide right now whether I want to be animating the orbs, we'll call them, or do we want to be animating the type? I think I will honestly choose we should animate the orbs, because I think with the difference in scale and the nature of them, it's going to be really interesting to do that. So I think we need to create some sort of background that's going to work with the type and the background texture that we're going to add later. So, this is a challenge.
Cynthia is saying, love your design.
Thanks, Cynthia.
I love it too. It's amazing. No, I have never really practiced motion so much. The only thing that I've been using is the Auto Animate on XD, which I find really cool, by the way. You guys should check it out.
XD, check it out.
I think it's quite a new feature.
Okay, so check out what I just did. I centered everything, and now it's doing this overlapping, which could be cool, but I think I want people to be able to see the difference in letters.
Ooh, or the letters could come together to the word.
Whoa, you guys, there's so many options here. Change.
So now, do you leave the single objects like that and put them together in After Effects, or do you already put it kind of together here and then animate it in?
I'd really recommend, depending on the project, it's going to vary obviously, but for our purposes of posters, you usually want to have a pretty solid idea of your layout before you animate. Otherwise, you can spend so much time just kind of redoing the same work. That's just my personal opinion, but you guys can play around with it. I mean, if you have time and you're learning, then go for it. Me personally, I like to kind of have a plan, but totally up to you.
So what's important to consider before moving into Adobe After Effects?
I'd say mainly we need to set up the layers, so that's something we're going to do tomorrow. So these Adobe programs work really well with each other, and they're designed that way for a reason, so you can go ahead and seamlessly edit your work. So that's what we will be doing tomorrow. So I'd say that's really important, and then also just having clean layers, so not having much of messy stuff on a bunch of different layers. You want to organize them, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But yeah, those are the main things.
Awesome. Maybe we can create some variation of this for tomorrow, so we have something to experiment with. And for you guys, we have 19 minutes and 40 seconds until the design feedback. So yeah, make sure you submit your artwork.
Yes, can't wait to see it.
Me too. And that will be also about poster designs with the use of gradients and creating some drama with gradients. I think gradients create a lot of drama, to be honest. If you look at this poster design, I think it looks pretty dramatic.
Yes, guys, change in life is dramatic, so you need to, I just like to try to represent whatever it is you're doing So if this is happening where you have artwork that's not showing up behind something else, you need to go ahead and unlock, and that way you can Command Shift bracket. Oh, it's not working. Let's see. Sometimes you need to move stuff to the front. Command Shift front bracket. Let's see. So what we might need to do is put this on a new layer. Oh, duh. See, you guys?
It is already on a new layer.
Usually in my early stages, I like to not really worry about layers just because I'm creating.
But it's going to be important later.
It's going to be important later. So if you see that why I was having that problem, the orbs were on a layer in front of the type. So
Catherine is asking, what do you do when you're stuck like this, but your due date is near?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is a good question. You know, there's always I think Amanda knows how to answer this question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say push through. There's a few things. Either take a break, go to an art exhibit, go for a walk, call a friend, call your mom, walk your dog, eat a snack.
Eat a snack, yeah.
So you could do those things if you're really on a time crunch.
Soap bubble break.
Yes, take a bath. But I would say something that's really hard to do but really effective is push through the struggle, meaning don't give up right now. So yes,
and experiment some more.
Yeah, yes, breaks are very effective. So get your mind off of it and come back to it, and I'm pretty much guaranteeing you that you'll have an idea of what to do. Just by having that mental break. But at the same time, don't take away from it too long, like a week or even a few days, because then you might just never finish it, right? So if you have the due date, go ahead and take a break, come back to it, and you got it. What do you think, Juliet?
I agree. To be honest, I usually take a break, go for a walk, look at something completely different than bubbles. And usually you find connections to other things in life, because our brain, if we have a problem that we have to solve, our brain will look for solutions. So the more inputs you give to your brain in this break, the more chances are that it will find the solution for you. So you don't have to do much. Just try to stay away from this work for a couple minutes or for an hour. You know, just let it go a little bit, and then it will come back.
I kind of like what's happening with this type. Not that it's working yet, but I kind of like the way it's looking clustered together.
Yeah.
And you can still read it. So why don't we go ahead and finesse it a little bit and try to make the spacing more even?
I think right now you kind of have this cha-cha-cha.
Change. Is that a problem?
No, I don't think so.
Change.
It could be a reading, yeah, you could read it wrong, but
we
change. What it is actually change, right? You have a very long change.
Just my worry about putting it all like this is like a stair
you don't want to
step.
be no. Maybe we can modify the A somehow. Change.
Change. She's obviously not saying do this, but that's an example of something you can do.
Oh yeah, or just the distance or the width or whatever. I mean, just experiment.
Could
just
be
a suggestion.
floating away. Okay, so 15 minutes before you guys challenge.
Yeah, submit your artwork, and we're gonna be reviewing, giving you some tips on how to improve yourself.
Okay.
15 minutes and 10 seconds left. Make the text on an arc where it is now, Steve is saying.
We could make it an arc. So what if we put this behind and then... So what if we made this bigger and made it more of a texture and put it behind the spheres is what I'm thinking. So what if we make it really big?
And then you
That's
can't
kinda
really
cool,
read
right?
it. Oh yeah, I love it actually. I love it. And then when you do the animation, it kind of get revealed a little bit more.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
See, you guys just keep pushing through the struggle and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. I love it. I love it.
Yes. Okay, so right now it's on front, which is totally kind of ruining the depth of the sphere. So why don't we go ahead and put it underneath And so what I did is I just dragged that layer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one challenge we're going to encounter when you're making a motion poster is when it's static, it's going to look very different than when it's actually moving.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, if I show you this, you're going to be like, what is that? Why can I see a C and a D? But we're going to be animating this, so you're going to be able to see the letters tomorrow through the actual...
We could already start preparing maybe for tomorrow.
Yeah, so the next step we need to do today, which probably we'll end with, is creating the background.
Yeah.
So we don't just want a white background. Of course you can if you want, but I think it's not really giving me the feeling that I want right now. It's just a little bit too stark white.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we add another layer? So if you guys see this little create new layer, it looks like it's turning the page. Let's go ahead and click that. And something that helps as well is starting to name your layers. If you get more than 2, it gets a little confusing. So by clicking this eye, it turns on and off your layers. So this is going to be, I'm going to call it my orbs. And tomorrow we're going to be putting the orbs themselves on different layers. We'll see if we have time today.
Samantha is saying, teamworks make the dream work.
Aw.
That's true.
Yes.
I agree.
Totally.
Constructive teamwork.
Yes.
When you're building on each other's ideas.
Oh, and you
That's
guys,
awesome.
pro tip, do you guys see how all of my art boards are being weird now with the layers? It's because I didn't create a new document for this. So why don't we go ahead and do that in Illustrator so we can start to actually make the poster the correct size. And that's something you want to do if you're going to be animating. You want to make sure you have the correct specs on your layers, otherwise it's going to mess up your artwork. So we'll go Illustrator, File, New, or Command N. And again, it's already set to my correct pixels, 1080 by 1350 pixels. Say okay. So now I'm gonna have my correct artboard size, and what you can do is just go ahead and copy what you need one by one. So let's do that. So Command C, Command V. And this is gonna be my type. So I named that type. This is gonna be my orbs, Command C, Command V. New layer, oh, whoops, delete it. Create a new layer.
And
Command
then, yeah, there we go.
Or,
Organization is key.
yes.
So when you're preparing files to be exporting into After Effects, make sure that you make it nice and organized and put the different elements on the different layers, correct?
Yes, correct. And so what I like to do personally is I like to keep my desktop clean, which means just not a lot of stuff on my desktop. And I like to usually just save things to my desktop, but you can save it to your Creative Cloud files, you can save it to your documents, whatever you like personally. But what I'm going to do is save this as 43 because that's the week that the poster is. And this way, if I ever want to access my files again later, I know which week it is, right? So I just saved the Photoshop file for this week, 43, so it's 43.psd. This one will be 43.ai, and then After Effects it'll be 43.ae. So go ahead and save that. Okay, you don't really need to pay attention to this. Okay, so now we need to add, we have about 10 minutes, so we're gonna add the background, right? And this can always change, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. If you feel like you're not sure right now, you can always change things later.
By the way, after the design feedback, we'll still have some time.
Okay, cool.
So don't feel
I'm just getting too excited, you guys. Okay.
I'm getting really excited for the animation part, actually.
Yes. So, look at what that just did. It created a lot more depth. And it's just black. So I didn't even plan to do that, but it shows you how much something as simple as that can completely change the aesthetics of your work. So you can go ahead and press V. I don't know, I kind of honestly like black, but let's see, what if we made it purple? So I'm gonna do I, select that purple. You kind of lose the edge there, right? So this is telling me if I want it to be dark, it needs to be somewhere probably between black and this purple. Or I can just do black, we'll see. But I just go ahead and double click this here, and you can select a color. So since this is RGB, you can select any color you want, and it's not really gonna make a difference, but if you are printing, you need to make sure your CMYK values are going to be a color that's gonna print well, but I won't get into that too much.
Yeah, since it's gonna be an online publishing, RGB is the right color scheme for us.
See, I kind of feel like that gives it a little bit more life than black. And of course, don't worry about the type right now. We'll figure that out next. What do you think, Julia?
I think we should try both.
Yeah.
I think we should experiment with one, the bright, and maybe even the background can change.
Yes. Since that is the theme of the day, right?
Ooh, now that looks really cool, actually, with the type.
So what if
It makes the type to stand out way more, and I think it makes it way more dramatic with a dark background.
So
I agree, actually.
Okay, cool.
This is awesome.
So we can go to align, put the type in the middle. And again, this is gonna change tomorrow.
Everything's gonna change.
Layers.
And tomorrow, things are gonna change again.
Constantly changing.
Correct.
So to me, without the orbs, this is looking a little bit chunky, which means the type is a little bit large, in my opinion. So why don't we go and edit that? So I'm just gonna press Shift and make it a little bit smaller. Center, center.
I think with this background and the typeface in white, it looks less chunkier than if it would be black on white background.
So we can actually experiment. So let's go Shift O, and then I'm just gonna
Yeah, let's see how it looks in white.
copy it over. I held Command Shift, by the way, to copy it over.
Yeah, and you
This
need to
way
be
you can
in the
just-
artboard selection to actually copy the artboard and not just the artwork.
Oh, thanks, Top Cat. It's amazing to see how excellently women work as creative collaborators. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Angela is saying this is going to be so good tomorrow. I agree.
Raphael is asking, do you often use a lot of shortcuts to the tools or commands? I'd say generally yes, but the same kind of simple ones. It just saves you time, so you can get there.
Yeah, and we only have 6 minutes and 52 seconds until our design feedback. So make sure you guys submit your artwork. You have only a couple of minutes left.
Ooh, what if it was pink?
Ooh,
What if it was like a really light pink?
that's cool. That is cool.
That's too light, right?
I think white is too light, yeah. That is interesting. And the change is not visible at first, but then when you look closer, the change is there. It's happening.
Or we could make the type even almost like tone on tone, so it could be like way less noticeable.
Oh yeah, that is cool. And then the orbs could be moving, and then you see the change behind the orbs.
What do you think?
I think that's super cool. I love both, to be honest. What do you guys think? Do you like the black background or the light pink background? Let us know. I think the black background makes it really dramatic. The pink background makes it very light.
It
And change.
Right.
I mean, change can also be, if you go into the philosophy of it, can also be something very light for some people. You know, some people love the change. And for some people, it's very dramatic. So maybe it's just a
I
personal
like
thing.
that. It's some more contrast, but it's not too
yeah.
dark.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix between this pink and purple. It gives it some more depth.
So we're getting a lot of comments that people like the pink, but some people like the dark background. I think you guys like more airy, lighter feels from what I could tell
Yeah.
today. You guys like the bright colors, the light colors.
Pastel-y. Honestly, my tendency is also further to the right one, so to the pink one, because I'm a person that loves change. I like change in my life, so
It's
I
always
like
a good
going
thing.
places. I like traveling. I like trying new food, new anything. So, what do you think? I mean, it's
Yeah.
your personal mood. So
I think that's a great question, and honestly, I think I started with these drastic and darker colors because I had like stress about change. But as you accept it, it gets lighter and more exciting. So I'm honestly leaning more toward this direction now that I kind of work it out. So do you guys see how creating something like this can be therapeutic for you? you can learn about yourself just from creating artwork.
There's a suggestion also to use it next to each other.
Oh, so
which is also
right.
interesting.
So if we wanted to get crazy with animating, we can even go. What if like the background changed from dark to light or something like that?
Or what if it's half and half?
Yeah, I mean it could. It could. There's a lot of
Or
possibility.
like a diagonal line that kind of separates the dark from the light.
Black says cosmic. That's what someone says.
Yeah.
Thanks, Top Cat.
Yeah, it makes those orbs look like planets. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in reflecting on what I want to express, I'm kind of leaning toward the lighter color, but again, we could change it later. Just depends on the mood, right?
And only 3 minutes left until the design feedback for the Daily Creative Challenge. I can't wait. Yeah. I think this pink really works well with the colors that are happening inside the orbs. Kind of complements it. I think it's super cool. And this dark, deep purple makes it stand out and creates like a three-dimensional effect to those orbs.
Right.
Which I think is super cool.
And we can take a step back and look at the spacing here because we didn't spend too much time on it. So you can object, ungroup. And what do you guys see? I kind of see there's a little more space between the H and the A. So I can go ahead and move that over.
And between the A and the E, right? If you look at the C and the N,
yes,
and A and E,
way more space. Yeah, it's very important to make it complementing for the eye, to have this perfect amount of spacing between the letters, especially if they're arranged in this way. And that's something I do a lot is you can go M, that's going to create a rectangle, and you can just use this rectangle as a spacer for yourself. So see here, so see there's way more space. So between the top and bottom row, we want the same space between the letters, and then also vertically. But there is going to be some optical alignment going on as well. It's not just going to be exact because the shapes of the letters themselves are different. So the way that you space them needs to be optically aligned rather than exactly a lot of the time. Okay. Kind of digging it. What about you?
Yeah, I love it.
Do you see anything that needs to be fixed?
I feel like maybe I feel like the G takes a lot of space for itself.
I could move.
Maybe move it a little bit further to the right, because between the N and the G, the N kind of has a very sharp angle on this round G, which makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Right. So I could even move the E over more, right?
Yeah.
Create some more space there.
And maybe the G also a little bit to the right. Otherwise, I think it's awesome. I think it's very balanced now.
Now I'm feeling like this E is too close. See, you guys, this just takes time. And
yeah. It all is a matter of patience and time. So true. Liking those colors, Sam is saying.
Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Stevie, hello. Stevie Casaboom, or Steve. Hello. Raphael says he loves shortcuts. Yes. Shortcuts make it so much faster.
Yes, Rafi.
And I love it too.
So see, my layers are getting messed up now that I copied the artboard, but we can fix that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's time for design feedback countdown.
Yay! We're giving some design feedback on our great artworks that have been submitted. So again, the task was to create drama in landscape by using gradients, creating a poster series or posters. And I think this one is a really cool example how you can, increase the drama through gradients. What do you think, Amanda?
I think it's very intense. I think you did a really good job creating that drama with these gradients.
Yeah, I feel like at the top there is some kind of light coming in, and then underneath there is this, this shadow that kind of creates this very high contrast. It's very intense. It looks like something is exploding, some kind of natural disaster or some kind of natural explosion happening. I think the gradients here are really good in use, especially like the top part is very, very intense and kind of highlights this intensity of an explosion through the contrast. Awesome.
Yes.
What do we have here? Ooh.
Wow.
I love that. I love the use of this rectangle in the space.
Yeah, it's very
three-dimensional
unexpected.
Yeah, I love it. And I also think it's cool how you included the lower part underneath the water instead of just really adapting it into the 3D space, which I think is awesome. And of course the sky at the top looks really intense now because of probably some kind of gradient use at the top. And I like the colors, honestly. And this rectangle gives it such a modern appearance. What do you think, Amanda?
Yeah, totally. I think it's very unexpected, and I like how you use the transparency as the rectangle goes into the water and it kind of disappears at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's even a 7 at the bottom. I'm wondering.
Well, that's for the day 7
cool.
of Daily Creative Challenge.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's cool.
I also like how this little house here sticks out from all the others.
I want to live in the
it's
pink
amazing.
house.
It's definitely very thoughtful, and yeah, I like how it sticks out from the black and white. I think you did some great experimenting in this picture. It reminds me of Italy or Greece. I want to travel. Oh yeah, there we go. And now here it's cropped, which is, I think, super cool too if you look at the bottom.
Yeah.
And this rectangle is disappearing under the water.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is super nice.
I think I actually prefer this version.
Uh-huh.
Just because of the way the cliff bleeds off on the right side. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the water on the left side is spilling over into the void.
Yeah. And the frame, this white rectangle frame is really framing in 3-dimensional space and not only at the front or at the back. So I think that's super cool. Well, good job. Go for it.
Yes, I agree. We only live once. Or do we? That's a maybe another question for another day.
I love it. I think this is super cool. The use of type here I think is really awesome. The gradient here at the bottom makes it more, more dramatic. And I love how this circle here has been cut out and turned, so you have this balance, kind of like a yin-yang. It's super interesting. And I love how you put the 7 and the project name underneath, which is something similar that we've been doing today.
Yeah,
so I think it's super
template.
Cool. And I also really like this typeface. I love how you use the typeface here.
I really like how they created the word going vertically and then the 7 going horizontally.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
It works really well.
Works really well. It looks very professional. It could be some kind of print ad.
Yeah. Sam says it gives it some really nice depth, having the circle there.
For sure. And also it kind of centers your attention onto what's happening in the center, which is the surfing lady. Right? You can see it right here.
Yes.
Lady, or I can't really see. I think it's a lady. Yeah, it's awesome. I love surfing. And this water looks super clear and super nice. Awesome. Super cool. Great job. I have to say, this looks very professional. The end of days. Okay, so here's what I see. A murder mystery. Okay, this is actually supposed to be some kind of book cover or a movie cover. I think this is a really cool use of gradients. It definitely makes it very dramatic, and that was the task in this challenge. So yeah, definitely a good job. I like the way you aligned the type here, the end of days. So you kind of, because we tend to read from left to right, correct? So we kind of have the hierarchy starting from the left side and going down to the right side. So I think it's a really cool job here. What do you think, Amanda?
I think it's very intense and experimental.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, maybe the only thing that I would do is, because there's a very high contrast between this these corner pieces, and this almost looks like a evening sunset light. So I think there is a big contrast here. Maybe I would soften up a little bit the gradient so it looks natural. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I think it's super cool. I can actually imagine this as a book cover.
Ooh, hope.
Hope.
Wow.
Ooh.
I feel hope from this image.
Yeah. This is awesome. I like how this light is flowing here, and you probably use some gradient underneath to kind of center the attention to this lighthouse. So basically the structure of this of this mountain, of this shore, kind of falls into the background, and you really can focus on the important things, which is this lighthouse and this light that's like flowing out of it. I think that almost looks like Northern Lights.
Yeah, I want to go there someday. Have you been there?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but it must be nice.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed here that I might point out is I feel that hope and the number 7, they're very similar in size. They're competing for me a little bit. Like my eye doesn't know which one to look at first. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but maybe just something to think about. Yeah. Maybe if you wanted hope to stand out more, the 7 could be slightly smaller. But overall, I think it's really great.
Yeah, it's very important if you're creating something like this that you have the control over the hierarchy of information that the person views. Means if you're creating something in the same size, the chances are that we see things at the same time. Or if you put something further on the left side, we tend to start here and then continue to hope. So I would really use your control of the situation and the control of the viewer's eye, how we perceive things. So it can be really your tool in terms of, for example, when you're creating ads, you're putting the more important information further up in the hierarchy. So what do you really want to say? That's the more important part. So in this case, I would maybe even make the 7 a little bit smaller. So because it's not very relevant of an information for us right now, and this picture is important to get this idea of hope and this gradients that create this light that stands out from it. So yeah, I think you can really play with the hierarchy here. Ooh, I love it. This is interesting.
To shine.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are deep.
Yeah, you guys are being very intense today. That's awesome. This is really cool. I like it. And
this just makes me excited. I agree. You should decide to shine every day. Because
definitely.
If you spread positive energy, other people will notice that, and you'll make a positive impact on people's day.
Yeah, and I love how the masking here was executed. You can see the shape of this mountain in the foreground is very clear because there was a gradient and used in the back, which makes it stand out even more, as Catherine showed us today morning. So I think this is a very great use of what you've learned today. I think it's really cool. And also this, the typeface in the background, it kind of like collides with the mountains. I think it creates a really cool effect.
The only thing that stands out to me is that the word shine is, we were talking about kerning earlier, and the word shine is very tight together, whereas decide and to, there's a difference in scale and spacing as well. So I'm wondering if there is a reason that you wanted shine to maybe stand out more, because it is closer together, and I believe the opacity might be a little bit more full. My eye kind of goes to that shine, but I'm not sure it's fitting as well with the overall poster as the other two words. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, and here also the type was in caps. Means if you decide for something to kind of belong together, try to put it in a similar format, so you really read things in a whole instead of reading just words.
Right.
What you could have done here, which will make it way better fitted to this other type, is, for example, using caps or using the same kind of spacing, or use the same kind of of course you wanted to make it shine a little bit more, but a similar format will help it to belong together.
I feel more integrated into the piece.
Correct. Yeah. And the yellow frame really reminds me of like how things shine. You want to make them shine. It's cool. Awesome. All right, that looks like it. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for submitting your artwork. We're looking forward to way more, and you guys can also participate here in the challenge feedback, and also, of course, ask questions, get tips and tricks. This is our Discord channel here called Adobe Photoshop. Just tune in and stay connected to the community. And thanks again for submitting all. Oh, we have one more.
Ooh.
Sorry, can we go back? We have one more submission here that we missed.
Ooh, gradient. I love it.
Yeah, I thought that we have to do this. This is awesome. I love the colors here. This is amazing. Amanda, what do you think?
Wow, I think it's really interesting with the difference of scale of this rectangle in relation to the figure in the bottom right and the birds, as well as the vast ocean. I think it's just really interesting and, not something you see every day. So I definitely appreciate that.
I can see this also as an animation where you have a color flow inside this gradient. So maybe there's something you can take from tomorrow when we're gonna be actually animating things. Maybe you can even improve it into a motion picture poster. I think it's awesome. I love the color that's like very poppy, in contrast to this very gray and very one-tone background. So I think it's a good job.
Oh, and did we miss Esther's? I think she said we missed hers.
Yeah? Oh, there's a bunch of more. Okay. All right. Okay, so these two, I hope Esther is one of those. Yeah, okay, let's get to these as well real quick. Yeah. Again, here, the use of this three-dimensional space where the letter S and this letter S kind of gets hidden behind the rocks. I think it's, it's pretty cool. It could be a little bit more dark behind the typeface. What do you think, Amanda?
Yeah, I think overall the type could be a little bit more integrated into the piece. I think maybe a way to do that would be use a lighter drop shadow. I think it's looking a little bit dark personally. And then maybe the placement of the word stars could be a little bit more flowing with the background. But overall, I think you did a good job separating the layers and kind of integrating it into the piece rather than just having it kind of flat.
Yeah, what I think here is a little bit confusing is that stars and the have a drop shadow, which makes it stand out more, but the background actually does not have the same depth, which makes the and stars stand out more, but then they're in the background, which makes it a little bit confusing. So I would just create masks between this part and this part of the mountain. So basically create another darker spot right here to create more depth, and the same thing right here behind the word stars. So basically the sky needs a little bit more depth here. Or you can also just make the drop shadow between the text a little bit less. So yeah, just try and play with it, and you will see that it will probably improve the understanding of the visual. All right, and one last but not least, you guys have been using a lot of frames today, which is, I think, awesome. It might have been part of the template that we have given you. Here again, we have this M that kind of disappears between this mountain line, but it kind of is in the foreground right here. So if you want to create this visual separation in the space, I would rather maybe put the text maybe behind the mountain, or maybe find a mountain range here that's kind of on the same level, and level the word with this part. So it means if I would go into this picture specifically, I would mask it from here to here, create a whole mask here because it seems like they're on the same level, and put this word behind it. So basically, so it's on the right spot in the space. Yeah, just make sure that it's that you have the levels of the space right: foreground, middle ground, background. Right? That's
Yeah,
how I say
totally.
Okay. Otherwise, I think it's really cool use of gradients over here. It's greatly masked. I think it's a good job. Good done. Well done, guys. All right. Now we're gonna jump back to Amanda's posters.
Yeah, and sorry guys if we didn't get to give you any feedback today. We only have time to go over a few, but hopefully we can get to it, or someone else on the team can get to them, or keep submitting your work and we can get to them next time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Haxel is asking if someone can give him feedback. Yes, you can join our Discord channel. It's called Adobe Photoshop, and you can go under design feedback or past challenge feedback, where you can get feedback from our admins. And yeah.
Okay. So you guys, I'm a perfectionist, and I feel like a lot of designers are, and something about this type is just, I'm not sure it's fully working for me yet. And I think it's going to take some more finessing. So I might be working on it a little bit before tomorrow, and we can kind of maybe try to visit it a little bit now. And if not, if we don't have too much time, we can see what we come up with tomorrow. But one more thing I want to do as well is create a little bit more depth in this background. So what we can do is copy this over to Photoshop, or you can always just eyedrop and create a new, since it's just a solid color, why don't we do that? We can double click the color here, copy the hex, Command C, go over to Photoshop. Here's my template, right? So also you guys, one thing I didn't mention on your template, go ahead and create all of your type for your template in one group. So what you can do is, if you have all the multiple pieces on layers, you can select them all just like this. So I just press Shift from the top to the bottom, and then you can go ahead and click this little folder here, and it's gonna create a folder for you. I won't click it now because I already have the folder, but go ahead and do that just so it'll be a lot easier for you when you're creating your poster to kind of lock it and get it out of the way. So anyway, we can go ahead and do that. So why don't we lock it, so we can go Command and then the slash key. So the diagonal slash. Who knows the correct word for that? Is this a slash? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you can also use the eyeball here to see it and unsee it. And what we want to do is edit the color of this background, right? So we're going to double click this, Command V. I already have that hex color copied. And then Option Delete. There we go. Boo, it's pink. Okay? So why don't we Command J this, so that I just made a copy. Let's lock this, Command slash, remember? Slash.
Command slash.
Slash, yes.
Wait, which one? This one or this one?
This one. Okay, so you can make a dance out of that.
The slash dance.
Which one will it be? Okay,
Yeah, right.
so we can create some texture by using effects on Adobe Photoshop. So why don't we go up to Effects or Filter, Noise, Add Noise. So do you guys see how it's creating that speckled effect? I know it's kind of hard to see on a lighter color, but what if I were to make it really dramatic? Obviously you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I never, just a rule of thumb, I kind of feel like it looks really unnatural when you add too much.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
let's be conservative about it and add like no more than 3. Let's try that. Okay. So if you zoom in, you can see that texture there.
Ooh.
So I just kind
Cool.
of,
It doesn't look like a TV anymore.
yeah, I just personally like
a
that.
broken TV screen.
And then what we are going to do is grab this. You can just see how it looks right now. Like I said, we're going to be preparing the layers for animating tomorrow. So right now we can just kind of see how it's looking. So I copied that so you can use the Adobe products just like this, where you Command C and then go into Photoshop, Command V. It's going to ask you if you want to paste pixels or smart object. Pixels is just going to be direct pixels, which gives you more editing power, but it also can potentially edit the quality of the artwork. Whereas smart object, it's going to make that object
A vector object?
a vector. And so that's going to add it to your library, and it's going to kind of protect it from being altered. For the sake of right now, let's just do pixels. We're not really going to be editing it in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just faster.
Yay.
Yay!
We're getting there.
So do you see how Photoshop now, this is an improvement that they made recently with the newer updates. When you're scaling things, I don't have to press anything. Look, I have a free
Yeah.
hand. Woo,
That is awesome.
Woo. Yeah, so before you had to press shift.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
go ahead and do that. Return. So now if you do want to warp it all weird, you have to press shift. So it's kind of like the opposite.
Awesome.
Okay, so do you see these guides that show up? That kind of helps me to center it. But I would probably just optically, vertically center it. Okay. And personally, I like some breathing room around here. You could always
I agree.
like bleed it off or do crazy things. It's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
So you could just like play with it, Command Z. But I personally like this. It makes my eyes happy.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then as far as the type,
Well, I'm super excited for tomorrow.
yes.
So now, do we export the file, or what do we do with it so we have it ready for tomorrow?
Right now, you would keep everything in Illustrator. So what I'm doing in Photoshop right now is just kind of messing around with the texture of the background. But as far as animating, we want to keep everything in Illustrator and put it on different layers. So we can go ahead and go over that now. I just personally prefer, it's kind of interesting, if we add the grain to this in Illustrator, it kind of looks a little different than it does in Photoshop. So I just personally prefer the way this looks. As far as editing the layers, we can go ahead and make a new document, because if you copy an artboard, it's going to kind of create things on the same layer. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So, or we can be bold and delete this. But why don't we just
Well, we
for
have
the sake of...
we have only I think 1 minute left.
Okay. Yeah, well,
So
let's
we'll
go ahead and
continue
go
tomorrow.
over... Yeah, let's go over the layers and everything tomorrow. And just
Yeah.
whenever you're about to close out, just save your file. So Command S.
Yeah.
And you can be ready for the next day.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys will join us for tomorrow. All of you, we need all of you back tomorrow when we're gonna be creating the animation of this wonderful poster. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm really excited for the After Effects session tomorrow. And we're gonna be doing some portfolio reviews as well. So make sure to submit your portfolios. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
thank you so
guys
much
for
for
being
joining.
here. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.